Devil of the Reed Fields, I have come to claim your head.
When you reach the middle of Chapter 3 in Crimson Desert, you'll be tasked with taking on a pretty difficult boss, the Reed Devil. Not only is he hard to get to due to the amount and persistence of the enemies in your path, he's a tricky fight in his own right. But don't worry, because we're here to help. Here's how to take out the Reed Devil in Crimson Desert. Before we start, Pearl Abyss announced they made this fight a bit easier with the Day 1 patch, so while we've checked the mechanics haven't changed, he may be tuned down a bit from what you see in the footage, as most of this video is written and captured before release. I'll be showing how this fight goes with the sword you earn from Hornsplitter and some pretty pedestrian armor. But of course, refining all your gear at the blacksmith in Hernan Town before going after the Reed Devil will make things much easier. Also be sure to take lots of food, even if it's not cooked, as you'll have a chance to cook and prepare right before the fight starts properly. You'll be tracking the Reed Devil for a while, but the run-up to this fight really kicks off after the cutscene where he attacks Andrew and Naira. Following the thread with your lantern leads you to a mountain path where his minions finally start attacking you in earnest, but there's a trick to dealing with them. Even though the Reed Devil and his health bar may appear, this is not the actual fight yet, so don't worry about hitting him. Don't engage these small enemies directly at first, either. Use your turning slash by pressing light and heavy attack at the same time to destroy the totems sticking out of the ground that dot the mountain path. If you leave these up, the enemies in the immediate area will spawn endlessly. Smash these totems as fast as you can, and then deal with a few enemies left before moving on, or you'll be quickly overwhelmed, especially if the Reed Devil appears with them. If you want, you can also just try and run straight past them if you think you have the stamina to make it through. Once you reach the top of the mountain path, you'll be in a wide open plain. Follow the path until you see a small tent on the left. Make sure to stop here, grab the cooking supplies from the box, and then cook as much food as you can. A quick tip is to not just make the highest quality thing, as you can often restore more health with 2 items of lesser quality. Once you have all the food you can carry, use the grindstone to give a small boost to your weapon. I would also make a hard save here in case you need to back out, and level your gear some more after a few attempts. When you're ready to begin, examine the small doll on the stone table. The most important thing about this fight is to go in with enough food, especially in his second phase. There's no way to avoid damage sometimes, and you have to just tank it for a bit until you can get him to stop. It's also a good idea, but not necessary, to bring a few spirit restoring food items as well. This fight exists in 2 phases. First, if this is an attempt that flows straight out of the opening cutscene, get ready to roll, as he's going to dash towards you with an unblockable attack before the UI is even fully loaded onto the screen. If this is after dying and retrying, it's not guaranteed that he'll start with this move. In either case, whether he opens with this or not, as soon as you have the chance, hold down the block/target button and press down on the D-pad to lock on. That way you can keep track of him without having to hold block and slow your stamina regain. You may need to re-establish your lock-on if the cursor disappears, but this is a good rhythm to get into early in the game. Now let's go over his first phase moves. First is his knife throw, which comes with little warning. When he's a good distance from you, make sure you're either strafing left or right in relation to him so the knives don't hit you, or be prepared to block. Strafing is better, so you don't have to tank the hit to your stamina in case he rushes in right after. His second and most common attack is when he will disappear and reappear next to you to slash a few times, often in 2 groups of slashes. These are parryable, but make sure you hold the parry button so you'll block if you time it too early. If you begin to get hit by these slashes, roll away immediately. The evasive roll you learned from the earlier Hornsplitter fight allows you to interrupt being stun-locked by these slashes to get away safely for a small amount of spirit. When you see the green after image and hear the little chime, that's how you know you're using evasive roll. If you're feeling bold, you can also parry while being hit if you feel like risking some more damage, or you think you have enough food to simply heal through it. Either way, after you do parry, don't commit to anything slower than light attacks, as he can disappear at any time to launch another assault. And if you're feeling confident in parrying his opening slashes, he tends to sheath his sword and bend over a bit before striking, you can fill up his stun gauge really quickly. It's going to take some practice though. Sometimes during this attack, there will be a red circle around Cliff's head, showing that an unblockable attack is coming when the Reed Devil comes down from the sky. When you see this, Create some distance by rolling, and then be ready to sprint to where he lands, as he'll somersault backwards after coming down, and then pause for a breather. This will be obvious as he'll crouch and slowly resheath his sword. If you get to him in time, you can either grapple him, or clothesline him if you have the ability, to raise his stun gauge. Slashes aren't generally a good idea here, since he'll often disappear during a combo attack. His third and final attack for this phase is his long-range stab, where he gets into this stance. This is a skill you can learn by observing, and you'll need to see him do it enough times so that the bar fills and you'll get a tooltip saying you've learned it. The best way to deal with it is to just get some distance. He can only travel so far with it, so roll or run backwards so that he whiffs, and then punish him if you're close enough. After finishing the slashing and stab attacks, you'll have small openings where you can lay in some damage, but make sure you don't overcommit with any slower moves, as he still loves to vanish behind you and continue his assault, and you need to save the stamina to block, parry, or dodge. Between hits, throws, and parries, you'll continue to build up his stun gauge. When the gauge reaches the top and he flashes blue, that's your chance for free damage. You may get a prompt to use a finisher here, but you have time to get at least 2 light attack 3-hit combos in before using your finisher.
Shuffle off this mortal coil and honor our family with your death.
After getting through his first life bar, there will be a small cutscene. When it ends, you have an immediate and vital task. You need to run to the totems and destroy them as quickly as possible. If you lose track of where they are, they're bright orange dots on your minimap, and you can keep track of how many are left by the pips at the top of the screen. The entire time you're trying to destroy these totems, you'll be attacked by phantom reed devils from every direction. Just like his slashes earlier, if you happen to be hit, roll immediately to break the stun lock, and continue on to smashing the totems. They can be dismantled with a few light attacks, but your best bet is to hit them with the turning slash by pressing light and heavy attack at the same time. Unfortunately, this attack costs 10 spirit, so if you used all your spirit performing evasive rolls to escape damage from the phantoms, it may not come out, which is where the spirit restoring food may come in handy. After smashing all the totems, the phantoms will go away, but you'll need to hit them one more time for another short cutscene, and then phase 2 begins in earnest. On top of the previous phase's attacks, he'll also add 3 more to his arsenal. For the first, the screen will darken, and he'll fire red waves of energy that can come in either single shots or longer bursts where he hops around, firing from all directions. The first ones come with hardly any warning other than the screen going dark, but they don't do much damage, and they're easy to dodge when the rest of the volley starts. The second addition that he makes to his moveset is that a phantom will occasionally spawn behind you and attack, again without any warning. It doesn't take out much. Just roll away and heal if needed. The final move added to this phase is a long draw unblockable attack. When he stands up straight, gathers leaves, and glows yellow for a moment, wait for the red flash on his katana and the accompanying noise to know when to roll. Other than those changes, the rest of this phase behaves the same as the first. Dodge the knives, parry the gaps, roll away if you start getting hit, and throw him whenever he does his drop down from the sky. Eventually you'll stun him enough for free damage, or get enough hits in between his attacks that he'll go down. When you see this new cutscene, congratulations! You're past one of the hardest early obstacles in Crimson Desert. For more tips and tricks, boss guides, and just anything you need to know, make sure you keep it here on IGN.